I see you sitting there, wrapped in the profound quiet of a house that used to be so loud. I see the quiet mornings, the way you hold your coffee cup and look out the window, waiting for the day to begin. I know exactly how old you are. 75 years of a life fully lived, yet right now, it often feels overwhelmingly still. The home that once echoed with laughter, hurried footsteps, slamming doors, and the beautiful, exhausting chaos of raising a family, now only echoes with the ticking of the clock in the hallway. If this message brought peace to your heart, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel so we can walk together every day. You are 75 now. You look at the photographs on the mantle, the faded smiles behind glass frames, and a deep, heavy ache settles in your chest. You walk past their old bedrooms. Maybe they are carefully made guest rooms now, or maybe they hold boxes of memories you haven't had the heart to sort through. You wonder if you did enough, if you gave enough, if you taught them what they needed to know. You pick up the phone, hoping for a call, or perhaps you hesitate to dial their numbers because you are terrified of feeling like a burden. My precious child, I need you to hear me right now. In the deepest part of your soul, feeling this ache does not make you weak, and it certainly does not mean you have failed. The empty nest hurts so much simply because you loved so deeply. You poured your heart, your physical energy, your youth, and your very soul into your children. Lately, you have found yourself almost begging for crumbs of their time. You wait by the phone for a hurried text message. You settle for a 5-minute phone call where they sound distracted by their own busy lives. Or you wait months for a rushed holiday visit, and when they leave, or when they forget to call, the silence in your home feels heavier than before. You feel a creeping sense of guilt, wondering what you did wrong to make them seem so distant. You worry about your legacy, about the inheritance you will leave behind, and whether your family will remain united in the years to come. Stop carrying this guilt. I did not put it on your shoulders, and I do not want you carrying it for another single step. The world tells you that your worth is measured by how much attention your family gives you today, but I am here to tell you that your worth was settled long ago, sealed by my eternal love for you. It is time to stop begging for the love you freely gave. When you chase after them, when you plead for their presence out of a very human fear of abandonment, you disrupt the natural peace I have designed for this specific season of your life. I want to teach you how to set a boundary of grace, a boundary that protects your fragile heart and actually creates a space they will want to enter. You do not have to diminish yourself or compromise your dignity to keep your family close. Remember the words inspired in Psalm 3, when David felt completely surrounded and painfully alone. He looked up and said, "But you, O Lord, are a shield for me, my glory, and the one who lifts up my head." I am that shield for you right now, standing right beside you in the middle of that quiet living room. When the loneliness tries to whisper that you are forgotten, I am the one gently lifting your head. You do not need to bow your head in sorrow or beg for scraps of affection from the children you raised. Let me be your glory. Let me fill this quiet house with a presence so warm, so vibrant, and so absolute that you stop feeling empty. At 75, you are entering a sacred chapter. This is not the end of your usefulness. It is the refinement of your wisdom. The empty house is not a punishment for growing older. It is a blank canvas for a new, profound communion with me. I know you worry about the future, about your health, about nursing homes, and who will hold your hand when the twilight fades. Hear me. I will hold your hand. I have never let it go. When you stop forcing connections that feel strained, you allow a beautiful shift to happen. You allow them to miss you. You allow them to see the quiet strength of a parent who is anchored in divine peace. Rest in my presence today, and let us prepare to rebuild your joy. I look at you now, at 75 years old, and I know exactly what you are thinking when you look in the mirror. You wonder where all those years went. It feels like just yesterday you were holding your firstborn, worrying if you were doing anything right, working late hours, and sacrificing your own dreams to make sure they had a roof over their heads and food on the table. The decades vanished like a vapor, didn't they? You spent your 30s and 40s building a foundation, your 50s trying to guide them into adulthood, and your 60s hoping they would finally understand the deep sacrifices you made behind closed doors. Life happened so incredibly fast, and in the midst of all that rushing, providing, and surviving, walls began to form. You were so focused on keeping the family afloat that the quiet, simple peace you always craved kept getting pushed to tomorrow. Without even realizing it, the world and its endless demands stole your peace. You worried about their education, their marriages, their finances, and their mistakes. Now, at 75, that worry has shifted, but it has not disappeared. You worry about what you will leave behind, your inheritance. And I know you are not just thinking of money or a house. You are thinking of values, of faith, of a legacy of love. You worry if they will stay united as siblings when you are no longer the physical glue holding them together for holiday dinners. You lose sleep over the fear of the future, the terrifying thought of losing your independence, of perhaps ending up in an assisted living facility, or simply becoming a chore in the busy, overloaded lives of the children you raised. You look at how independent they have become, and sometimes that independence feels like a cold wall they built to keep you out. But my beloved child, that wall is not a reflection of your failure as a parent. It is simply the nature of a modern world that glorifies being busy over being truly present. This is exactly where the pain of the empty nest becomes a heavy, suffocating weight. But this is also where I want to give you a profound, reality-anchored solution for your aching heart. You must stop begging for their attention. I do not say this out of harshness, but out of a deep, abiding respect for you and for the sacred season I have placed you in. When you constantly reach out, anxious and needy, you are operating out of fear, the fear of being forgotten. I want you to establish a strict boundary of grace. Step back, release your children to me. You have done your job, and you have done it with all the love and strength you possessed. By stepping back and letting go of the desperate need to manage their lives or secure their visits, you create a peaceful, unburdened space. This boundary acts as a magnet. When they sense that you are no longer anxious, but rather anchored in a deep, unshakable peace, they will be naturally drawn back to the warmth of your spirit. You do not have to carry the burden of their adult choices anymore, nor do you have to secure your future through sheer willpower and worry. I am holding your tomorrows in my hands. The inheritance of peace you leave them by living a life free of anxiety is far more valuable than any earthly possession. I want you to sleep soundly tonight, free from the terror of what the coming years hold. Remember the truth recorded in Psalm 3. When the night was dark and heavy burdens were closing in, the words gently remind us, I lay down and slept. I awoke, for the Lord sustained me. I am the one sustaining you right now. I will sustain your health. I will guide your steps if and when decisions about your living situation need to be made. And I will be the ultimate guardian of your family's bond. You do not have to figure it all out tonight. Breathe in my peace. Let the silence of your home become a beautiful sanctuary of our conversations, rather than a lonely museum of your memories. Trust me with your children. Trust me with your legacy. And above all, trust me with your fragile heart. I invite you to step into an entirely new reality today. The world looks at a 75-year-old and sees the autumn of life, a time of winding down and fading away. But I look at you and see a beautiful soul perfectly primed for the deepest, richest harvest of peace you have ever known. You have spent decades pouring yourself out for everyone else, and now it is finally time for you to be filled. The boundary I am asking you to set with your children is not a wall built out of anger, bitterness, or resentment. It is a gentle, sturdy fence of self-respect and divine trust. By softly pulling back, by choosing to no longer beg for their time or engineer their visits, you are actually doing the most loving thing possible. You are handing them completely over to me. I know you often look at the calendar and feel a sudden sharp pang of panic. You believe that time is rapidly running out to fix broken relationships, to ensure your family remains united, or to organize the perfect inheritance. But you must understand that my grace absolutely does not operate on earthly time. The clocks you watch so anxiously, the years ticking by, they have no power over my redemptive work. Whether you have a handful of years or a couple of decades left on this earth, the time that remains is more than enough for me to bring complete healing and restoration to your home. It is never, ever too late for me. You do not have to desperately try to fix everything before you come home to me. I want you to realize that your greatest inheritance is not the money in your savings account, the property you might leave behind, or the fragile heirlooms sitting in your dining room cabinets. The most profound, enduring legacy you can possibly leave your grown children is the powerful image of a parent who walked their final years with an unshakable, quiet confidence in their Savior. Let go of those terrifying late-night visions of the future, the paralyzing fears of nursing homes, of losing your physical independence, of one day becoming a burden to the very children you raised. I see every single one of those fears, and I gently take them from your hands right now. You are never a burden to me, and I promise you will never walk down a single unfamiliar hallway alone. When you establish this strict but loving boundary, you stop chasing the wind. You stop trying to force your children to fill a deep emotional void that only my presence was designed to fill. And when you do this, a truly miraculous shift begins to happen. When you stop begging for their love and attention, you transform into a radiant beacon of tranquility. People, especially your busy, overwhelmed children, are naturally drawn to genuine peace. They will eventually come back to you, not out of a heavy sense of obligation or guilt, but because your very presence has become a much-needed sanctuary of rest in their chaotic, demanding world. Remember the beautiful, ancient promise I gave through David in the closing of Psalm 3. After acknowledging the struggles and the enemies surrounding him, he declared with absolute certainty, "Salvation belongs to the Lord. Your blessing is upon your people." That exact blessing is resting upon you right now, in this very moment, as you sit in your quiet house. The ultimate salvation of your family's bonds, the complete preservation of your dignity, and the total security of your unknown future. These things belong entirely to me. You do not have to orchestrate them anymore. You only have to open your hands and receive them. So, breathe deeply, my precious, beautiful child. Release the heavy, exhausting grip you have kept on your children's lives. Let the quietness of your empty nest transform from a place of sorrow into a holy, sacred silence, where you and I can converse like the closest, most intimate of friends. Walk hand in hand with me through this beautiful, golden season of your life. I invite you to subscribe to this channel so that we may walk together through these truths every single day. You are so deeply cherished. You are completely seen, and you are eternally loved. Leave your burden in the comments below. Type, "I receive your peace, Lord," and sleep soundly tonight knowing I am already standing in your tomorrow.